welcome to Sit Down with the Superintendent, presented by GCHS TV. Join us as we welcome Greenup County Superintendent Tracy Moracey to our roundtable discussion hosted by GCHS students. Now, here are your hosts, Callie Ramsey and Zane Bauer.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first episode of Sit Down with the Superintendent. I'm Callie Ramsey, joined with Zane Bauer today, and we're honored to have our Greenup County Superintendent, Ms. Moracey, here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here this evening.
Okay. It's a good opportunity for me to get to meet and talk with everybody.
Yeah, we're so glad for this opportunity for you to be here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So let's just dive into it. Christmas break is coming up. Do you have any plans for Christmas?
I'm going to do my best to not work as much. That is my Christmas plan. My first year is going to be really busy with just learning the ropes of a new position. So I'm not getting to take as many days off. But I do have two little ones. Well, my daughter would be upset for me calling her little. She is in 6th grade, and then I have a son in 4th. So I'm going to take some time off to make sure I'm being a good mom.
All right. So how do you feel like your first year as a superintendent is going so far?
So far, I think it seems pretty positive. There are always ups and downs each day, but so far so good. I haven't heard a ton of complaints yet, so you guys can tell me how I'm doing. I'll let you tell me.
What do you think is the hardest part of the job so far that you've had to deal with?
It's not always fun being the bad guy, if that makes sense. I'm one of those that loves to find the positive, and being the bad guy sometimes isn't so much fun, but as long as I'm acting in the best interest of you guys, then I'll do what I need to do. And then just learning some of the new rules and laws and budgets. Those are all new things for me because I'm used to worrying about curriculum and instruction and how we teach. So.
All right. And what do you love most about your job?
Wow. This is kind of fun. I like this. Really enjoying getting to meet the new people out in the community. I feel with this job I can make an even bigger impact on our community and work on some things. So I think that's what I'm enjoying about it the most, is just the chance and opportunity to do some good things for us. So.
What duties as a superintendent do you have to hold in order to be superintendent?
You mean duties or like certificates and
just like
degrees?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I am a graduate of Marshall University, so I will be cheering on Eli next fall. I've already given him a few orders about what I'm expecting on that field. So I'm a graduate of Marshall with an undergrad of being able to teach anything from kindergarten to 8th grade. Then I went on and got my master's degree to be a principal and instructional supervisor, anything from preschool all the way to college. And then you guys will find this funny, to get a pay raise, I went back and took an extra set of coursework at Eastern Kentucky University on how to be a superintendent, with honestly no intention of ever using it. So just know that fate is not something you control, but always be prepared.
All right. And what qualities do you have to be successful in your field of work?
Disciplined. I think you have to be disciplined, patient, which is a quality I'm still working on, but very disciplined, and be able to relate to people and understand various situations, and that there's not one rule that applies to everything. So disciplined, and be willing to work. You have to have a very strong work ethic, because this particular job, and really anything in education, does not stop at 3 o'clock. Teachers take home things, bus drivers worry about weather, cooks are up way before any of us. So anybody in education, you better be planning to work much different hours than what you think. So it's not summers off like they say.
So do you think we should dive into more questions about the school and stuff like that? Like, for instance, is there anything that we can do to get a better stage for the performing arts class?
Actually, yes. We are getting ready to do a facilities plan, which is something that tells us what upgrades we want to do to our facilities and what improvements need to happen. in the next 3 to 5 years. So with that said, I'm actually going to be putting out some applications, and I'll talk to you guys more about that next week. But I'd like to seek some student input on that facility plan, and I have no doubt that a theater is something that our students are wanting. So I'm not opposed to it, and I would really like to look at it. So.
Because I feel as if, because as a school, and being an actor in the theater class, we had last year we hosted a festival that's called ECDIS, Eastern Kentucky Dramatic Arts Society.
I went to it, yes.
Yeah.
You guys were great.
And thank you. And we weren't allowed to use our own stage because you have to have certain, how would you say it? It's like you have to have some, you have to meet the requirements, and we didn't meet those. And I feel like as a school we should be able to represent for performing arts, and we don't focus more on the art stuff. We focus more on sports and academics.
Okay. So, and that's what this is about, getting your input and finding out what everyone thinks. I really want to get more input from everyone. So I do agree. I went to ECDIS, and they were fantastic. I believe you won, correct?
Yes, we got second place.
Yes. So it was very impressive, very motivating to watch you guys and see your impact on that whole audience, because there were people from all over the state, and it was just fantastic. Honestly, I completely agree with you. We need to work on expanding our theater and just our arts in general. Very proud of the process that our band is going through to get better. I'd like to see our choir expand. Mr. Mosier is fantastic. I'd even like to see some more engineering and design in computers to be able to get more creative with our arts in that aspect too.
And going along the same lines as that, do you know if there are any future plans on adding any more foreign languages to our school? Because right now we just have one language and one teacher, and he kind of struggles to keep up with the flow of kids.
I'm sure, especially with it being a type of requirement. I can see that. I have not crossed that yet. Okay, so I'm not opposed to it. But again, one of the things, and we could probably actually use our students to help us out on this. It's a funding year in education.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how intact you guys are with legislature and what the expectations are in that area. But for us to improve or expand anything, we're really going to need some assistance and additional funding in the area so that we can do those types of things. So.
All right, and another thing to go along with in the school in general, recently there have been a few complaints about the dress code. Mostly it's been about, ripped jeans, a few like low-cut shirts and stuff like that, and a lot of students have noticed that a lot of female students get dress coded more often, or there's a lack of consistency with it being disciplined from teachers as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I will tell you that every school has a different dress code depending on the grade levels that they serve. So most of that is managed at the school level. So that's something that's decided by your site-based councils and your leadership in your school. Other than that, as far as consistency, I just recently said sometimes there isn't one rule to follow everything, but I think when it comes to student rules and things that we're asking our students to do each day in the classroom on routine, we definitely need to be consistent with that. So that's my answer to that, is I want to see some consistency. If we're going to have something in place, let's be consistent about it. I will tell you that from what I have read, because I did look at the policy, there are places that are much more strict.
Yeah.
And I will leave it at that. Not to sound negative, but there are places where that you cannot have any different colored hair. There are places where you cannot have any piercings, any tattoos showing. So people asking you to not have ripped jeans too high is not really something, I think, that's unreasonable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
And was there anything else you were wanting to add?
Yes, this is a completely different topic
Okay.
as a part of the school food. I've noticed that since you became superintendent, our food palette has increased a lot. Are you responsible for this?
I would love to take credit for it, but I am not. We have a new finance officer in place. She came to us last year, and she is overseeing a lot of the food service responsibilities. And as she started looking through the budget, she started realizing that we could spend a little more on food, have a little bit more variety, and it's kind of like that supply and demand. Your quality will increase the amount of people who want it. So they've increased the quality. That was a big goal for her, and I think she'll be really excited to know that you guys have noticed. And Miss Barb Gollett, who is over all the food service, has just worked really hard to make sure that you have things applicable that you would be interested in, the little food bins and things for you to grab and go in the morning, stuff like that. So yeah, we've noticed a huge uptake. I think it was a couple of weeks ago we did the Thursday or Wednesday meal for the holiday, and I came in and helped them serve. I had so much fun. That's how I got through college, people. Just know you got to have multiple skills. So whenever I went in and helped serve, that was a big crowd that day, big crowd. So I think, just so everybody knows, holiday meal is the 18th.
Okay.
You heard it here first, folks. Okay. And they told me to have my hairnet ready. There we go. All right.
Oh, yes, school clubs. Is there any way that there could be students who could run school clubs like after school?
In order to be affiliated with our school and under our school policies, you need an adult sponsor. So that's kind of one of those things that we can't.
Yeah, so there has to be an adult
Legality-wise.
present. Yeah. All right. So, so Thanksgiving has recently passed. How do you feel about it? Like, what you do over Thanksgiving?
I slept. Disney Plus, it's my new favorite thing. Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of Sit Down with the Superintendent. Have a question for Ms. Moracy and send it to the Mr. Collier's email shown at the bottom of your screen, and we will consider those for an upcoming show.
Oh, great. Sounds good.
For Ms. Moracy, Callie Ramsey, and the entire GCHS TV crew, I'm Zane Bauer. Thank you for watching.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.